Hey guys, so a few days ago the audio company Rode published what they're calling their biggest announcement ever. There's some firmware updates, there's some new products coming to the market, but one product really stood out for me, and it's called the RØDE Streamer X. And it's interesting because it's a game capture card and an audio interface in one. Now, there might be some obscure, lesser known Chinese company that's released something like this already, but as far as I know, there's nothing like this from a top player such as Elgato or Avermedia or any of the other top companies that release game capture cards. So it is quite an interesting announcement, and it's something which I'm sure will be very popular. So this is the announcement. I will, of course, leave a link to this article or this press release down below. And just as a quick rundown, this shows you that there's firmware updates for the Wireless Go 2, for the Rodecaster Pro 2, which obviously for podcasters. And then we've got new products. We've got the Streamer X, we've got the Rodecaster Duo, the PodMic USB, we've got a backpack for the Rodecaster, and we've got a charging case for the Wireless Go 2, which I might look into because I do have that particular product. So this is the Streamer X. There's dials to control your microphone gain level and your headset volume, and there's buttons to switch on and off your microphone and your game capture footage. And at the right hand side, there's lots of colourful custom buttons which you can use as well. At the back is where you will see all the inputs. Obviously, you've got one XLR input, it's a combo input, but I would have liked to have seen two XLR inputs there. There's a few headphone ports, and there's two USB Type-C ports so that you can actually connect this to two PCs in a dual PC setup. So it's quite interesting. You've obviously got the HDMI in, and you've got the HDMI through to go to your monitor. And it can record up to 4K at 30 frames per second or 1440p at 60. And it's also got pass-through, 1440p at 120 and 4K at 60, which basically means that you can play your games at a higher frame rate and it will be recorded at the lower frame rate. This will just handle it all. Now, this is a really interesting solution to me because normally what you have is you've got your game capture card that records all your game footage or your camera footage. And then you've got your audio mixer that records your audio. You put them all together, you sync it, you make sure there's no latency, etc. But this is an all-in-one solution. Now, I did see online that the company in the UK, Gear for Music, they've got pre-orders already. Estimated delivery start of June, £349. So in theory, we will see that price around the world. So, you know, maybe $350, maybe €350 around that ballpark. So this is a very interesting product. Obviously, it's not out yet. I don't know what it's like. But in theory, this should have less latency issues than other setups. So it's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what this can actually do in practice. My one concern about this is that, well, one, you know, it's £350. It does replace two separate devices. You know, rather than buying a good audio interface and a good game capture card, you've got one solution that does it all. But for me, game capture devices and cards, etc., they tend to last 2 or 3 years, and then you think, okay, I'm going to move up to the next one because, you know, a new solution's come out. It's got higher resolutions, it's got support for higher frame rates. But an audio interface, a good audio interface or a good audio mixer, that can last 5 years or 10 years. It could last 15 years or longer. Really, if you've got a good audio interface, you really don't have to think about it for the next 5 or 10 years. So if you do buy an all-in-one solution like this, the audio might be perfect, all the effects and all that would be great. But there might be a time in a couple of years where you need to replace it, not because of the audio, but because of the limitations that it has for game capture. But it can do 4K up to 4K 30, and it can do 1440p at 60. So for right now, this is more than enough for game streaming, game recording. So it's an interesting device. Please do read the announcement. Please do let me know what you think about it. What do you think about the RØDE Streamer X? Is this something that you would buy? Leave a comment below, and until next time, take care.